everyone, and welcome back to PrepTalk podcast. I'm your host Vartika Bhandari, and we are back with another episode that features our student alumni Diya Sharma.
Hi.
So Diya is here with us, spending 1 year at University of California, Berkeley, and today she'll be sharing her freshman year with us at Berkeley. So, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Cool, let's get started. So, our first question to you is you had 7 acceptances, right? And you ended up choosing Berkeley. So, what was going inside your mind while you chose Berkeley?
Sure. So I'll give a little bit of a background. I am currently on taking biology as my first major and declaring psychology as a simultaneous degree. I'm on the pre-med track. I do want to end up in medical school after the 4 years that I spent at Berkeley. And when I did get all my acceptances, I did have a couple of options where medical school was a university had a medical school affiliated with that university, and they offered programs where after the 4 years I could attend their medical school. So knowing that, I still ended up choosing Berkeley because even though they don't have their own medical school, they are affiliated with UCSF, which has a medical school. I got into a small major, Bachelor's of Science in Microbial Biology, which was exactly what I wanted in terms of research prospects too, looking into my junior year when I do start my research. And I also, saying that I got into a small major, I knew the advising was also very thorough, and the major that I had also completed most of the prereqs that I needed for medical school. So looking at that overall, I knew that going into Berkeley with the major that I wanted was a good fit for me.
All right. So we are glad that you are finding your way towards Berkeley. So moving on to our next question, that you chose a major. So usually we see students who have their major pre-decided like you, and there are students who are not, sure about their major. So what was the process of you deciding on what major you wanted to do?
So I think I bring it back to being pre-med and completing the prereqs, because there are a lot of prereqs that you need to complete, a couple of courses of chemistry, a couple of courses of bio, physics, math. And it's stigmatized that, biology, chemistry are one of those majors that you can use to get into medical school. Mm-hmm. But apart from that, I had always been inclined towards a combination of bio and psychology, whether that be biopsychology or just bio plus psych. So from high school, I was taking the IB diploma, and my higher levels were biology and psychology. So I think right from high school, right from me creating my resume, I knew that bio and psych, some combination of that was what I wanted to pursue. And even if I don't go to medical school, I know that those majors are what I wanted to do, and I'm pursuing that since my high school.
All right. Okay. So Berkeley is one of the very good colleges in US, right? And I see you smiling. So yeah, you seem very happy.
Yes.
So what was the process of creating your student resume that you think worked out good for you?
So I wouldn't only say that it's for Berkeley. I think any university, whether that be in Canada, whether that be in the US, you need to be able to create your story. Your story is your own, and that's what you start off with, and that's what you take into college. Mm-hmm. Yes, people say that, college is a fresh start, or I don't know what I want to do yet, or I don't know what I want to be. But I think that when you are applying to schools, you know what you don't want. I knew that going to college, that my father's an engineer. He loves engineering, but I knew that that's not something I want to do. I knew what I didn't want to do. And maybe even if I didn't know what I wanted to do, I had a general idea of my passions, what my life wanted to look like. So, my dad said, Diya, make a list of what you want in your life. I made a list of 10, 12 things, and I noticed a pattern. That sounds cliche, but I want to help people. That's what all medical students say. It's what goes on your medical school application. But I knew that I was a people-oriented person, and my life wanted or my life goal is something related to that. So I created a story, I created a profile where everything tied back to that central mission. Whatever I did had a common theme and a common storyline that ended or like connected to each other one way or the other. I worked with NGOs, I worked with NGOs outside of my school, in my school. I did online summer programs that connected back to my major that I wrote about when applying. And then my extracurriculars were related somehow to me being a people-oriented person and taking that into medical school.
Okay. Okay. Understood. So let's understand how are the academics at Berkeley. So you mentioned that you're currently pursuing microbial biology and psychology. So how is that major working out for you at Berkeley? How are the professors? How are the classes? How are the peers that you hang out with?
So I, like you said, I just finished my freshman year.
Yes.
So right now I'm mostly taking lower division classes.
Mhm.
Because Berkeley is a public school, the classes are big. I do have classes where there are 200, 300 people sitting in one lecture hall.
That's huge.
It is huge. And going in, I was nervous because my entire life I have attended schools that have no more than 10 to 12, I would say 10 to 15 people in each class, and jumping right to, 150, 200 person lecture with not necessarily individualistic attention to you. I was nervous about that. But know that if you do enter an environment like that, you have to be self-aware. You have to be able to advocate for yourself and find opportunities that will push you and help you. So if I do, for example, one of my classes, my chemistry classes, was a huge lecture, and you have one professor, you go to lecture Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 1 hour, and then you have, for example, a discussion section, or you have your graduate students and structures that you have to take time out of your own schedule and go to their, what we call office hours, or that where they can give you individualistic attention. So yes, it's a big school. Yes, the professors are great in what they do, but I think it is very student oriented in the fact that you have to push yourself and you have to sustain yourself and find ways in which you can help yourself, because you're the one looking out for yourself, not anybody else.
Right. Do you think it is good for a student personally attending to that huge of a class where you think it's very easy to lose focus and concentration, right? And for a subject like chemistry or sciences particularly, attention is very important.
Correct. I think that it depends on the class and on the professor. I think there are times where you can have a very good professor who does take time to answer questions in class, and then you can also have a professor who just wants to lecture and then you're on your own. Okay. So it can go either way. And like I said, it's on the student, because when you have a midterm, you have a test, it's you studying for it, it's you taking it. And the professor's job is done in a sense where they have brought that material on you, and then it's the student's responsibility like I said, I think being at such a big school has taught me that it is my responsibility, it's my job to advocate for myself, and if I want to succeed, then it's on me. There's nobody holding my hand, there's nobody that's going to push me, because at the end of the day, it's me, my midterm, my grades.
Okay. Moving on to a less serious topic and talking about extracurriculars here. So how are the extracurriculars at Berkeley?
So I would say the extracurriculars are great. We have fairs, extracurricular fairs at the beginning of the semester, and where students can walk around and kind of get an overview of everything Berkeley has to offer. We have application processes, interviews to get into some of the more competitive clubs, and then, some are just come in, enjoy, have fun. So there's both sides of the spectrum, some competitive clubs, some, more of enjoyment and being part of a community. For me personally, I'm part of 5 clubs, and right now they're mostly oriented in what I want to do in the exactly what I want to do in the future. I am also one of the leaders in one of the clubs called the American Red Cross. So right now, I think as a freshman going into my sophomore year, my primary focus for getting into club was creating a network, because in such a big school, you want to feel small. You want to find a close-knit community. And I think that I've created a lot of communities from my clubs. And yeah, I think the clubs are very helpful in, finding a network and taking you or helping you to take the next step forward. So I'll give a specific example. In the American Red Cross of the student chapter at Berkeley, I got involved with the health and safety committee, where I'm responsible for CPR, first aid, and creating events or managing marathons that happen in Berkeley. And from that, I was able to get onto the Bay Area chapter. And so not only am I working at Berkeley, but I'm also working with the real team of the West Bay or the Bay Area. And so that was something that I got from the student chapter. So like I said, the clubs at Berkeley are very helpful in helping you move forward and create a network that helps you go forward.
So how is life at Berkeley? Not talking about the extracurriculars and not talking about academics now, just talking about the fun.
The party.
So yeah, the parties,
Okay.
the fun. Where do you go? What do you do? And how is life as a freshman?
Yeah, for sure.
For being, you're so new. There are thousands of people in that university,
Yeah.
and you would hardly know anybody.
Correct.
Right? And you can be alone. So how was it for you, looking at so many people, meeting so many people, networking with them, eventually going to parties and then having fun?
Yeah.
So how was it? We'd like to know that.
Okay, let's hope my mom's not listening to this. But yeah, so the first week that you do go into as a freshman, you have orientation. I think that works with a lot of the universities. And actually, the friends that I have right now are all the ones that I met during my orientation week, and we kind of stuck.
Okay.
So it is a college town. So I hardly see, families walking around with little kids, or, people walking their dogs. It's mostly college students, grad students, and you can see. So I think that's one thing that I really like, because everyone is at, the same age group, that it's very easy to go and connect with people. And when it comes to the social life, there is a vast Greek life. There are sororities, fraternities that a lot of people are part of, so most of the parties happen there. But for a person like me, yes, I do like to party, but that's not something that I prefer doing on a weekly basis. I think hanging out with my friends, going out for dinner, going out for dessert is something that I'd rather do. So yes, there's a good balance of parties. There's a good balance of, relaxing, taking time to yourself. And I think the one thing about, when you go into college, you think that you need to go to parties, or, if you want to find friends, or, go to parties, have a social life. I don't think that, but honestly, I don't think that's what, or a person like me. Yes, it did happen where I was invested in, I wanted to go to parties, I wanted to go out, but then over time I realized that that's not really something that I want or necessarily need to do to find a good group of friends.
Yeah. Do you think it's the hype of it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it's a hype. Yeah. That you want to go to parties every week. Let's go to a frat. Let's let's go out. Let's dress up. Yes, dress up. Go out. There's more to life in social life than just parties. And like I said, I'm really happy with the group of friends that I have. We find something to do. There's always something to do in a college town like Berkeley, and a lot of events. There are concerts, a lot of events that you can always be part of.
Okay. So, moving to our last question, how was your time at Tutela?
Um, you know,
Don't cry.
no, no. I'm very thankful to Tutela. I joined, if I remember correctly, I joined Tutela my junior year of high school, and it was mostly for ACT prep and some help in bio. But it was very helpful. The teachers are very supportive. They take a personalized approach where they understand the strengths and weaknesses of every single student and work a plan around that. So I was very thankful to all the teachers, because more than just a teacher, they were a friend who stuck through thick and thin. There were breakdowns, there were, frustrations, but like a friend, they took it step by step, and I'm very thankful because without them, I would be lying if I was saying that they were not a huge part of my application process and my journey through high school. So I'm very thankful to all of Tutela and people working in and out. So I really love the people here, and they're really good at what they do. So yeah.
Thank you. And now I'm crying. Okay. So with this, we end our today's podcast. Thank you so much, Diya, for being here. It was a nice podcast.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll see you in the next podcast. Don't forget to follow our channel and give us a 5-star if you're listening this on Spotify. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.